Before I get into the meat of this video, I would first like to address a couple of points. First, that I don't really care to be drawn into the religious versus atheistic debates on YouTube, although I no doubt will, based on the premise of this video and my own wanderings and musings. Second, that this video will be ad-libbed, not something I really care to do very often, or won't care to do in the future, but I don't really care to write this out. It doesn't seem all that important, though it does need to be said. As you can no doubt tell by the title of this video, the subject is omnipotence, and I would have to say that you're all doing it wrong. Omnipotence, let's define it first before we tell you how you're doing it wrong. It's absolute power. I don't think anyone will contest this. Infinite power, absolute power, they're synonymous. Complete and total is what it means. So, what is power? Power, let's define that as something that lacks restriction. Something that has power is not restricted. Let's give a couple examples of this. First, of a CEO. He has the ability to fire anyone within his company, unless he's bribed, perhaps. He has no restrictions on whether or not someone stays at his job. He has the power to fire them. Let's give another one. A man has the ability to bench press 250 pounds. 250 pounds does not restrict him from bench pressing. He can do that. He has the power to do it. For all intents and purposes, power is synonymous with lack of restriction. If this isn't contested, let's go a little bit further. Someone that, or something rather, that has low power would have a great deal of restrictions. Something with high power would have much fewer restrictions. Ergo, it's an inverse relationship. Now then, let's add the absolute part into the mix. If something was to be without any power, absolutely powerless, then it in turn would be with an infinite number of restrictions. If something had absolute power, omnipotence, then it would have absolutely no restrictions. What is a logical contradiction if not a restriction from the actions of doing something? If a creature, entity, being, thing, whatever, was omnipotent, then it would not be bound by logical contradictions by very virtue of it being omnipotent. This means that whenever you allow the hypothetical of omnipotence to be levied into a debate, you cannot, unless you want to disgrace yourself, bring up some sort of contradiction within God, because there are no contradictions. It's omnipotent, after all. So, you might want to rethink how you go about debating, yeah? While this is my second video, it will be linked to many people's videos that make this error. As a response, of course, it's going to be more or less general. I'm just trying to inform people because, well, most people, at least the atheists, try to propound themselves as these great intellectuals, these logical minds, and, well, I don't disagree that they aren't logical necessarily. I just don't think they quite look at it as far as they need to. One person that I anticipate this happening with is Ubergossen, who I am actually fond of his videos, but I can see it happening in this debate that he's about to go into. But we'll see. Until then, have fun.